Hi, I'm Matthew Lolte Hepworth, and welcome to Steinberg at NAMM 2010. And I'm going to show you our newest piece of hardware, which is the Steinberg Ci2 audio interface with AI, Advanced Integration Technology. What we have to begin with on the left side of the unit are some controls that you're very much used to, things like the input gain of the two audio inputs. You also have a high impedance audio input on the first input, and then you have a master volume, a headphone jack, peak indicators so that you can set your levels appropriately, and then you have a control for listening to the input versus the DAW mix with a center detent, and you do have phantom power on the first two inputs, and a mono button so that you can get the signal on a mono input happening out of both speakers during the recording. Then on the back, we have two analog inputs, which can be XLR or quarter-inch, balanced or unbalanced on the quarter-inch, two balanced quarter-inch outputs. They can be unbalanced as well. Then you have the headphone jack and a foot switch. And what really makes the Ci2 a wonderful interface that nobody else has is the right-hand side of the interface. This is where you see this little knob called the AI knob and this little button next to it. And I'm going to show you how those work inside of any copy of Cubase. And I should mention that the Ci2 does ship with Cubase AI 5, so you'll be able to get up and running right away. So when you first launch Cubase, all you have to do is hit the button that is on the AI knob. When you do that, it brings up our brand new Project Assistant. And using the same knob, you can scroll through different types of templates. So if I go into the recording templates and then press the button again and select acoustic guitar and vocal, it will automatically launch a project with those tracks already assigned to the project. So now the AI, or the button that's next to the AI knob becomes our transport control. On a lot of other interfaces, you might have transport controls, but then you'd have a series of buttons. Instead, this button will cycle you through all of the different procedures for recording your first track. So when I press the button the first time, it brings up the interactive recording window. I'm actually going to set it back to its default, called Speed Record. So now when I press that button, I now see the interactive recording screen for Cubase. This is the new feature that's linked to this button on the Ci2. And you'll notice that I'm going to start with recording, move to the stop, and then return to the start position. So for recording, all I have to do now is press one button on the Ci2 interface. So I'm going to press the button, and it's going to start the recording on the track that I have record enabled. So now I'd be playing my guitar, and then when I'm ready to stop and record the next track, press the button again, it automatically stops. The next time I press the button, it rewinds to the beginning, and then I can record the next track. And I can continue to go through that whole cycle until I get a take that I like. It's also customizable. The interactive recording screen is customizable so that that cycle of steps that are engaged through that button will then, it allows you to customize your own cycle so that you can have it do any sort of transport steps in any order that you want. Then the other great feature about the AI knob is that anything that I hover over with my mouse control, this knob now controls. So for example, if I were to open up the EQ of that track and I hover over the EQ number 3 control, now when I spin that knob now controls whatever my mouse is pointing at. But then if I need to leave it there so that I can control that parameter without having to be hovering over it with the mouse, I can then, on the Ci2, press the lock button. And when I do that, now I can move my mouse out of the way. When I spin the knob, that knob is now locked to that parameter. So it makes it very, very easy to leave something on the screen that you can get to and edit very, very quickly without having to use your mouse all the time. Thanks so much for watching this video on GearWire.com.